Hey everyone, back with another video, and I am not in it, just got out of the shower, sitting around in my pajamas, and today I was thinking, as I'm always thinking, about how long this whole thing has been dragged on, and I'd like to think of it kind of like a 3.5-year charade game. Now, like I mentioned before, I've been getting mobbed out of jobs long before the stupid farmer's place, but I really started questioning and backtracking and thinking about things that people said, things that people did, the little clues that were dropped in front of me, and then you start drawing a conclusion. So that's why I'm calling it a very long charade game. And so what I find puzzling about this whole thing is I know that it has a religious element to it. It has a religious twist to it because of just by the things that people have said, and I'm going to go back to a story in a few minutes, and I'm going to not mention anyone's name right now. I keep thinking, gosh, I'm back and forth about mentioning names right now because I am going to be making a big reveal, and it's going to detail so much information, it's not even going to be funny. But I'm tired. I'm sick and tired of playing this game. I don't want to deal with it anymore. I've given these people plenty of chances. But for right now, this video, until I put it on the website and have the whole thing drawn out with all this information, I'm just going to give you just basic details. So anyway, this particular lady, about the charade game. Okay, now, the religious element. I want to back up a little bit. Okay, I know it has a religious element just because of the things that a lot of people have said, and the situation that actually, I believe, started the intense mobbing when the girl Selena Bruce over at the farmer's place had an issue and something about the Steve Landry and going to church. Yeah, there was a girl who was I hired as a temp or something like that, and they wanted to replace me with her based on religion, because they were extremely jealous, and this whole mob mentality, claws were coming out, these people were acting crazy, right? Okay, so I don't care about throwing their names up there, I've already done it. So anyway, so I know that it's just a lot of religious, but I also believe that my sister is associated with it. So I'm thinking, are these two different, separate operations? Like, is it just my sister and my siblings, and then they put a bug in the stupid farmer's ear, and then the little girl, Selena's ear, and then it just evolved from there, and it just became its own thing? Because if my sister doesn't like my husband, and she's claiming, see, this is, and I'm thinking, okay, if she doesn't like my husband and she's trying to make me leave my husband, that doesn't seem Christian, because Christians have, and that's my point, okay, because a lot of Christians don't follow the Bible. You see a lot of them are married, not more than one time, and their divorce is not based on anything scriptural. So that's what irritates me about a lot of Christians, okay? So I'm trying to figure out, are these two separate people working against me? But I know who my perpetrators are, but I'm just trying to figure out the whole angle, because the angle doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense if I'm thinking about it. But, when I think about people affiliating themselves with a religion, I keep thinking the way I would do it. Because if I felt as though there was an organization that truly followed the Bible the way it's supposed to be followed, and throwing in what they want to do, and then kind of using things as they go along and making a bunch of bullshit up in the middle, I don't appreciate that. Okay, so I'm the kind of person, when your actions are, you can't have contradictory actions in anything that you do when it comes to the Bible. That's just how I feel about it. I believe that book is written for a reason, and it should be followed. And if that's what you're claiming to be, you need to follow that. So, the whole divorce element, which I do suspect my sister wanted me to divorce my husband. So I'm trying to figure out, where's the connection? Okay, now, I want to have a little bit, I'm just rambling on right here, because I'm trying to fix things up in my mind, okay? Now, I do know that there was a lot of hints that were dropped to me, like when I was working, not only at the farmer's place, but then, I've got so many being bombarded so much with religion, it's not even funny. But, what I'm going to call fake religion. But, I know that there was some sort of plan, or at least the lady, when I was working at the floral place, she told me that there was a guy here in town who was trying to enforce Christianity, or at least that's what how she kind of explained it. like everybody was in town was supposed to be Christian. And I kept thinking, does this person even know what the fuck they're talking about? Because you can't do that. That violates the rights of an American citizen. And it also, it's against employment law. And I've noticed a lot of things. Like when, I knew that I was management material from the very beginning. When I first started accounting, I knew that that was a goal that I wanted to achieve because I pay a lot of attention to, like, laws and the little details of everything. And one of the things I noticed about a lot of the businesses is that people in management didn't. I used to see people just like completely goofing off, and I kept thinking, don't they care about workers' comp? I'm not uptight, okay? But when you're thinking about running a business and you see people like, putting their heads in like the spinner, the little, what do you call it, the screen printing press, I don't know what you call it, but you're kind of ducking and dodging when the thing's like moving, and even though they may know what they're doing, it's still like you would think somebody would say, hey, no, do that. It's these little things that I would notice, and I kept thinking, wow, But anyway, so then I'm having this, and it's constantly being thrown down my throat. And then, like, I got fired because somebody assumed, because that's what it's like to be in this town. Like, you can get fired for any reason, if you're a person of color. I got fired because I was suspected of being Muslim. Okay, I've never been a part of that religion at all. Never even occurred to me. And then there's a lot of this BS, the little dropping hints about me not having the same name as my husband, which is kind of funny because there's, I remember working for, actually I know a few people, but, as in my adult years, I remember working with a couple who have different last names, and nobody's sitting here gang stalking them. So it's a lot of bullshit. It's just a lot of bullshit. Because they don't want to come out and say, you know what, we're a little uncomfortable with a black person with more skills and knowledge in their field. And then it's a competitive game that they're constantly playing. Okay, and that's really annoying. So somebody who, with that kind of intensity, to try to block me from a position that I'm comfortable with and I show a lot of enthusiasm with and it comes easy for me, is something that is just trying to spite me. It's somebody who is trying to hurt me and damage me, because there was no reason for people to take me off my track. My sister has been jealous for a long time, and I'm just coming to know that after this long charade game. Now, it is a very long game, I'm telling you, because I'm starting to think back all the way to, like I said, like some of the jobs that I had when I was a teenager, and some of the social situations that I was in, not necessarily at work, but like in school, or just like conversations in the neighborhood. It was always something vile was surrounding it at all times, So the more I think about it, it's like, okay, this is just an insecure person, like constantly, dumping her crap and her insecurities on me. Is basically what this is, and I'm starting to figure it out. But I'm just weirded out about the whole thing, and whatever the case is. I keep thinking about some of the kids I used to know at school and stuff. It's like, I don't know if I'll ever see any of these people again, and I'm not wishing them any harm, but, if they thought it was their responsibility to pick out a job for me, that is wrong. And, or maybe they felt, well, she hardly went in school, she ditched school a lot when she was younger. Well, there's a reason for it. And, people shouldn't, jump to conclusions about other people, and even worse, try to dictate what they do. I find it's very irritating to me that somebody would even think it was their right or their responsibility to look for work for me. It's just wrong, and I think it obviously has a lot to do with some sort of competitive thing. I think some people that get on Facebook and they play this, well, where am I at in life, and where is this person at in life? And I'm going to tell you, there's a few people, that I grew up with that are doing some pretty interesting things, okay? But I would never sit here and plot and plan to try to take that away from them. In the scheme of things, I don't even think my aspirations are anything, I just don't think they're that phenomenal. I think that they're reasonable, and I think that they're understandable, but I don't think it's something that you need to get cutthroat about. I just don't, and so, I'm the kind of person, my brain is constantly working 24 hours a day, And, you know, I enjoy work, okay? And some people will say, well, why don't you just go ahead and start making clothes or focus on, that's not what I want to do. That's not what my brain wants me to do. And I to even have to justify that even a little bit is to me against, it is. It's against it goes against my rights as an American citizen. I mean, I don't have to justify my desires to anybody. You know, I want to work and put my mind to work, and I enjoy that sort of thing. And I do. I'm very analytical. I don't like to use that word, but yeah, I am a very analytical person. You know, the farmer was constantly saying, "Oh, you're a what did he say? You're a was it creative? I can't think of the name. You're an expressive, okay? You know, that's what it means to be kind of gifted. You know, I'm kind of gifted that way. You know, but I have a very analytical mind. But I will tell you, I also have an extremely goofy side. So to me, I enjoy that. It's one of those. It's a blessing, actually. You know, I tend to find humor in a lot of different things. I'm a very carefree and happy and bubbly person, and yet I can turn around and be totally serious. You know. So I used to get like really pissed off when he said that. I kept thinking, you know what, whatever. You know, I found this man to be annoying at all times, you know, because he just had this, you know, I'm so pompous, I know everything, and, you know, he was very condescending the entire time. I remember him, I started in 2009, right, and so I guess the previous bookkeeper screwed up the 2008 workers' comp audit, so he blamed it on me. And I'm like, you know what, that's ridiculous. And his response was the same response that the girl in Chatsworth gave me. Well, you're the accounting manager, you figure it out. Those are two very similar statements, and so I'm starting to figure it out. My sister was in the job in Chatsworth as well. And it is very strange that somebody would do that, especially when I was, you know, raising a child all by myself, trying to do the best I can to take care of him. And you've got this woman sitting here trying to sabotage my job. Like, it was fucking crazy. I don't mean to dwell on this subject matter, but, you know, if I encourage everybody who may not be a targeted individual to do some research on workplace mobbing, community gang stalking, cause stalking, which is pretty much the same thing, but it's a little different. And cause stalking, of course, is when they're trying to convert you to a way of thinking or whatever, and they use very harsh tactics like cutting off your employment or, you know, or demoting you or whatever. But it is very traumatizing. And you'll start reading about the psychological effects that this has on a person. I mean, it is overwhelming. And then trying to, you know, pay your bills and trying to come up with money and then trying to go through a work search to try to get yourself, improve your financial situation. And you've got, you know, murderous people sitting here wasting your time, and it's already a financial hardship to drive to, you know, Palm Springs to meet that dumbass, which I can't wait to reveal his name too. And this is going to be huge. I don't give a shit. You know, I was thinking about the news should have made the news. Like last summer, I think it was last summer. You know, right when I got back, a little after I got back. I had a conversation with a person in law enforcement. I don't know if this was in the summer or if it was like the fall, whatever. Got an issue with the law enforcement. I tried to call the place that I used to work at. It was a news station. And I tried to get them to cover this story. Okay, now I worked with these people, and I bet you these people were somehow involved in my mobbing and my gang stalking in some way. And because these people knew who I was, but they never once fucking returned my call or anything. And I kept thinking, okay, this is a very serious issue. Obviously, they didn't give a flying fuck, right? I kept thinking this really should be national news. It should be national news because of the element of racism and the blatant display of religious intolerance. It should be the news. It should be in the news, and it should be. And you know, because like I said, it covers so much, you know. So I'm trying to like wrap my brain around I know who's involved. I mean, everybody I probably ever worked with is involved in this. And because my sister's been stalking me for a very long time, and so that's why, hey, I got to cut them off. And the only thing I expect them to do is verify my references and do not talk to me. Don't talk to me. I don't want it. I mean, I deserve to have my references verified, and I need to just move on. I don't want to deal with any of this. I don't want anybody from my past, bothering me. I don't. Because to me, these people were involved in something that was meant to harm me. They knew I was going on these job interviews. They knew that I was wasting money. They knew that I'm sure that they could think back that I never did anything to do to them, ever. I never did anything to these people at all. But they thought it was okay for me to go through all this. And if their reason was because I said I was half white, then obviously I'm dealing with a bunch of racism. So, and racism that to me is, the intent is to kill somebody. So this is why the news, the local news should have made national news. And I remember we're talking to one of the guys in the news department many years ago. His wife worked there too, and it was funny because he was telling me how much he loved Brian's song and how that was a great movie and everything. And it's really funny when I think about how so many racist people start off conversations with that. They start off conversations with movies and TV shows that they can relate to, and that's just the problem. That's just the problem. The problem is the people that they relate to are fictional characters. Now, mind you, I know the movie was based on a true story. It was based on a true story, but still, I'm sure it was played down and to be more palatable for TV. But still, it's like, and they also think that telling me that is going to somehow absolve them from their racist views. It doesn't impress me. It just doesn't. So anyway, I'm very frustrated and irritated and just tired, and I just want to get back to doing what I want to do. And I don't want people to bother me anymore. I should be taken seriously. I've proven myself. I mean, I'm fully competent. Now, the farmer knows that I'm competent. He knows I am. I mean, he knows that I didn't screw up his workers' comp. The very next year, I got him a refund from workers' comp. And I've done everything. I mean, I did the inventory. He sent his little clone, Bob Inger. Yes, I'm going to reveal his name. I don't give a fuck. Bob Inger sat there and took credit for my work, and Steve, I don't care if I said his name, who cares? He sat there and just completely let him do that. And that I started realizing I'm getting slowly but surely working myself into a mobbing issue. And, but anyway, I'm just trying to figure out the religious aspect of it. I'm trying to figure out how, because my sister never really, Lisa never came off to me as religious, okay? But I do know that a lot of people are involved in Christianity simply for the material aspect of it. I mean, they're involved in it not because they truly have a sense of spirituality and they want to live higher or live with higher moral standards. It has nothing to do with that. Oftentimes, it has something to do with making friends and obtaining benefits, is basically what it is. And so, and I'm sure my sister was all for that, okay? But like I said, I'm a sincere person. I like my relationships to have meaning. And so I am, even friendships have to have meaning. And if I'm going to have a relationship with a higher being, God, it only makes sense that my heart needs to be in the right place. I'm very, 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 I take things very seriously. And that's my calling in life. It's what I'm supposed to do. I don't expect everyone else to live by that standard, but it's something that I do, and I enjoy living that way. So, anyway, I'm just kind of releasing some ideas from my brain and thinking about, how all this connects and trying to piece all this together. I know, my husband's mother's involved, and I'm trying to figure out where her part is. I know my husband's mother is just she's a fake, phony Christian, too. She is. She makes me sick. And, I'm not sure if she put her head together with people that I used to know. I don't know how all this came about, but I know she's involved in it. I know my sister's involved in it. I know Ruth is involved in it. I know everybody I probably ever worked with is involved in it. And whatever the case is, they had no right to intercept, and they have no right to prevent me from doing what I want to do. And I know their motives for it. My sister had her own reasons, but that stupid farmer, it was totally racial. He had absolutely no right to do that to me. So anyway, I am going to wrap up this video and ponder some more, and I'll be back with another video later. Take care. Bye-bye.